What's up everybody, welcome to Elevation Dent Company. In this video, we're going to be fixing a Hyundai Accent that got completely blasted in a hailstorm. Now technically with the amount of damage on this vehicle, it's considered a total loss, but it's not. I picked this up from the Copart auction with a clean title. I bought this vehicle cheap, do some repairs on it, then I'm turning around and sell it, make a little bit of money. So I'm going to take you over my shoulder, show you exactly how I'm going to go about fixing this vehicle. In the process of fixing some hail damage on this Hyundai right here, this thing got hit up pretty hard. It's your typical Colorado hailstorm that got hit on this thing. There's not really a flat spot on this panel. Roof, trunk, all of it just kind of got hit the same way. Quarter size hail, marble size hail with a lot of high winds behind it. I ran around the sides on this last night, got the fenders, the doors, rails, quarters, all that done. The trunk's actually not as bad as the roof panel. It's still got a lot of dents on it, but nowhere near as bad as that roof. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this thing out. I'm gonna do the roof, get the headliner dropped on it, then I'm gonna jump over the deck lid, and then I'll probably pop the hood off real quick and knock it out next. I'm gonna do majority of the roof on this with this dent hog right here. This is like my go-to tool, especially with hail damage. It's got the soft tip and then a super sharp tip on the other end. So here's another look at the damage underneath the paintless dent repair lights, and these are what we look into to actually fix the dents with. So if you've got a dent on your vehicle and it looks bad outside, once we get it inside and put these lights on, it's going to look 10 times worse. These lights show every single flaw. So I'm using that dent hog like I showed you before, and this is like the AR-15 when you're fixing hail damage repair. When you've got this extreme amount of damage on this, you need a tool that can get through this metal as fast as possible, or you're going to spend days fixing something like this. So all I'm doing is just working that metal from the backside. I'm putting pressure from the underneath, getting right in the center of that dent and working it back out to its factory spot. Steel has memory to it, so it wants to go back to its factory position, but it needs guidance, so it needs pressure in the right areas to push it there. Some of these dents are really stretched out, so we got to be careful that we don't oil can the metal. And what that means is the metal becomes weak in the center and it starts flopping up and down on us. And then you see me right here just blending everything out. And this is just working that metal back down to its original position, because what we do is we actually over push the metal till it's up, and then we hammer it back down to fade it all out. And that's, as you can see what I'm doing right here, that's using a blending tip, and I'm just working all that out. You just see me heating up some of the metal. Some of these dents are actually stretched out, so by applying some heat to the top half of them, it softens them up and allows that metal to push itself out. A little bit more pushing here. We're almost finished with this side of the roof. I switched my tool up here and I'm now working with a super sharp style tip. This is used to put the finishing touches on the panel, and this is for that final detail, like putting the icing on the cake. Alright guys, I'm about halfway done with this roof, actually a little bit more than halfway. I went ahead and took the antenna out to fix the back half of this because a lot of it's hidden with that antenna on here. Our light won't shine over top the antenna to get all this down and through here. So I still got about a million some dents over here on this side that still need fixed. Blistered, man, there's a lot of dents up here. But the thing of it is, once you get going with something like this, put your head down and just start working. It actually comes out quicker than what it seems. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and switch all these tools out, move everything from this side to the other side. I just got everything laying on top of this headliner, switch my hooks out, get my rods moved out, and I'm gonna go ahead and bust this other side out. Alright guys, we got the roof panel completely finished. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out considering how bad it was. I would say there was at least over 500 dents on this. I didn't really sit there and count every one of them because I didn't want to lose motivation on it, but there was a lot of them on here. So it's not 100% perfect, but it's also not a Lamborghini. You know, if you were to see this vehicle in a parking lot, you would never ever know it had hail damage on it, and that's what we're looking for anyway. So what I'm gonna do is let this sit for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump on this trunk and go ahead and knock this thing out next. Here's the arsenal of tools we're gonna use to fix this trunk. We have everything from whale tails to pick tools to more sharp curved hand tools to some straight blunt tools. So the reason we have to use hand tools like this is because the bracing underneath trunks and hoods, they require more smaller tools like this because the access just isn't there. So we got to shove these smaller tools into basically any hole we can get into, any style brace, any style opening we can get access to underneath that metal. So we would take a tool like this right here and shove it into access holes anywhere up underneath this trunk, because as you can see, we don't have a very much wide open area. So we got to use all these holes to our advantage. Little holes like this, bigger holes, holes like this, pretty much anywhere. I took the stops out of the sides over here so we can gain access to there. And as far as like gaps like through here, we would use whale tails to slide up inside of there to gain access to that metal, because most of the dents are up underneath these braces. So we don't have the privilege of just using one big tool and just hammering all this out. We've got to come in and fight all the bracing to get access. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some tools and get to it. I'm coming up on completion of having this trunk lid completely done. So what I've done here, I've adjusted my light into this direction here. And what I'm gonna do is get in the back side of this, and I'm gonna actually stare into the light coming this way and blend all this metal out. What happens is when we stare into the light and we fix the dents from this angle looking directly into it, it might look 100% perfect, but once we put it onto the actual car and the trunk gets shut, then if somebody stares from back here, like in a sun or something, they can see all the little ripples and all the little flaws when you stare at it from this direction. But if you was to go to look at it in this angle with the trunk shut, it wouldn't look that bad. So in order to fix that, what we do is we put the light in this direction, we come to the back of the trunk, and then we pick up all the little flaws in this area throughout the entire deck lid. What I like to do is grab my blending hammer, I'll stand from the low spots, I'll kind of just blend them out. Just work the metal all out till it's completely even. And any low spots I have, we'll just pick them up here with the tools, you know, using the access points. Trunk lid is completely finished. Roof panel's completely finished. I'm gonna jump on this hood, tear it off the car, and knock this thing out next. This hood should fix pretty quickly. The hole underneath of the hood is pretty much wide open. There's not a lot of bracing covering it. It's not too terrible. I mean, I've done a lot worse than this, but let's check out the bottom side of it. As you can see, the hole underneath of this thing is just wide open, and we've got all these access holes. The center of it's pretty much wide open, all the holes in the back. When you're fixing a hail damaged hood and you have access like this, it's definitely a good day for sure. So this right here will make for a really quick repair. So what I'm gonna do is put my head down, knock this baby out. Last but not least, we got the hood all finished up. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Even though this thing had a lot of damage on it, it really didn't take that much time. And that's because all the open access up underneath here really helps out and speeds the process up a lot. Here's the mess of tools I got to get cleaned up now, but without these, I definitely wouldn't have been able to fix this panel. That's a wrap on this one, guys. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comments below. If you're interested in auto body paint and paintless dent repair, consider subscribing to the channel. Most of the tools and all of our online trainings are listed down in the description below. Thanks so much for the support. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Take care.